Hello. This video is on Chapter 6, Interest Rates. This is the problem exercise solution, and we're going to look at, first of all, problem number 1. In problem number 1, what we're doing is looking at the factors of interest rates, or the components of interest rates. It's a relatively straightforward example, but most of the examples on this topic will be similar. So in this case, we have a risk-free rate of 4.2, inflation of 3.1, and the maturity risk premium of 0.1 times the years to maturity. All right. In this specific question, our maturity is a 4-year treasury. So as we see the solution, the real risk-free rate is 4.2. The inflation is 3.1. We have a maturity of 4. So 4 times 0.1 is 0.4, giving us a required rate of return on this 4-year treasury security of 7.7%. In this model, these are all additive. The risk-free rate, the inflation premium, and the maturity risk premium are all additive. In some more sophisticated models, they're multiplicative. The last condition here says if averaging is required, use the arithmetic average. In this question, we didn't need to average. Two of the premiums that were not included were the liquidity premium and the default risk premium. For a treasury security, you should never have a default risk premium. For a treasury security, you may have a liquidity risk premium, but it's less likely. Treasuries are extremely liquid, so it's in almost every case you will not have a liquidity premium for a treasury security. Now let's go to question 4. Question 4 is a little bit more difficult, but still it's the same question we just did, except it's applied to two different bonds simultaneously. So in this case, we have a 10-year treasury bond with a yield of 5.3 and a 10-year corporate bond with a yield of 6.75. Let's quickly skip to the answer and look at the two equations, right? The corporate bond has all 5 risk premiums included: the risk-free rate, inflation premium, maturity risk premium, default risk premium, and liquidity premium. As you'll note, the treasury bond has only 3, right? Suggesting the default risk premium and the liquidity premium are equal to 0 for this bond. Let's continue with the problem. Also, corporate bonds have a 0.25% liquidity premium. As I suggested, the liquidity premium is usually excluded from a treasury security. And then the maturity risk premium on both securities is 1.15. So if we go down to the solution again, we've got the treasury bond yield of 5.3, the corporate bond yield of 6.75. When we set the corporate bond equal to 6.75 and the treasury bond equal to 5.3, we see the difference of those two bond yields is 1.45%. So we have 1.45% is the difference, right? The return on the corporate minus the return on the bond, minus our liquidity premium, which is 25 basis points, and that would suggest the remainder, the default risk premium, is 1.2%. And that's it. Question 5 is very similar to question 4. And if you have any questions on these, please post them online or send me an email. Thanks much.